Toddler discipline is one of the most searched topics in parenting, and yet most of the parents searching it are missing the one tool that would actually change things. If you've been explaining the behavior, teaching your child a better option, and then watching them do the exact same thing again, you are not a bad parent. You're a parent working incredibly hard with an incomplete toolkit. Now, here's something most parenting content won't say out loud. If you're not using consequences, you are parenting with one arm tied behind your back. And the parents who avoid them most are often the most loving, most intentional parents in the room, which makes this especially hard to hear. If you're a parent who feels stuck in the same loop, explain, redirect, repeat, or if you've been told that consequences are harmful and you're not sure what to believe anymore, this video is for you, because the longer you go without this tool, the longer your child goes without learning what they actually need to learn. I'm a licensed clinical psychologist and a mom of 4, and I want to show you today what consequences actually look like when they're done right. Warm, calm, and effective at every age. I'll give you real examples, including a question that came in from a parent about her 5-year-old, and another from a parent wondering what on earth a consequence even looks like for a 1-year-old. And if you stay until the end, I'll show you exactly where to go next to get the full strategy in a free live session I'm hosting this week. Now, let's get into it. Let's start by naming something that doesn't get said enough. Permissive parenting doesn't mean you don't love your child. It doesn't mean you're lazy or checked out. In my experience, the parents who fall into permissive parenting are often the most devoted ones. Parents who care deeply, read everything, and are trying their hardest not to repeat the mistakes of their own upbringing. But here's what permissive parenting actually is: high warmth without the structure to match. You're present, you're loving, you explain, and then when the behavior happens again, you explain again, and nothing changes because there's nothing on the other side of the explanation. Research on parenting outcomes consistently shows that children raised in permissive households, warm, loving ones, show more difficulty with self-regulation, lower frustration tolerance, and higher rates of behavioral challenges over time compared to children raised with both warmth and structure. And this is not because warmth is a problem. Warmth is essential. The problem is warmth without the authority to back it up, because without that, the child has no external scaffolding to help them build internal regulation. They need you to hold the line, not harshly, not with threats or punishments, but firmly, calmly, and consistently. You're not helping your child by protecting them from every consequence. You're helping them by being the loving authority figure who guides them through it. Now, if you spend any time in parenting content on social media, you've probably seen two very loud camps: the attachment parenting side, which emphasizes connection, co-regulation, and following your child's lead, and the behaviorist side, which emphasizes structure, reinforcement, and clear consequences for behavior. Both sides present themselves as the right answer. Both act like the other side is harmful. Now, I want to encourage you to reject that framing entirely. The research doesn't support either extreme. What it consistently supports is the approach that lives in the middle: authoritative parenting, high warmth and high expectations together. Connection and structure, not instead of each other. This is gray thinking in action, not black or white. Your child needs you to be warm. They also need you to be firm. These are not opposing forces. They are two sides of the same coin. The parent who can hold both is not contradicting themselves. They're modeling for their child that they can be kind and have standards at the same time, that love and limits coexist. That's not a mixed message. That is the message. I have a live workshop coming up that I'll tell you about at the end of this video, because I kept seeing parents being pushed towards one extreme or the other and ending up stuck. And consequences are a big part of where that plays out. The answer isn't more warmth or more structure. It's both, in the right balance, and knowing exactly how to use consequences as one piece of the complete approach that actually fits for your child. Now, I want to take a moment to answer a question that came in on Instagram about a recent reel that I put out on boundaries. A parent asked, what would consequences even look like for a 1 or 2-year-old? And this is such a good question. And the answer is simpler than you might think and more immediate than you might expect. So at this age, consequences work best when they are immediate, brief, and directly connected to the behavior. So they're not punishments, they're teaching moments with a built-in result. Here's what that looks like in real life. Your 1-year-old grabs the lamp cord and tugs on it. You calmly remove their hand, make brief eye contact, and say, "Hands off cords, that's dangerous, be safe." And you redirect them. "Let's play with these blocks instead." If they do it again, you repeat the statement and add a consequence. "Let's play over here farther from the lamp." In the sandbox, your 18-month-old grabs the shovel out of another child's hand. You calmly move in, return the shovel, and say, "We wait for her turn. The shovel stays with her for now. Here's your rake." Now, if it happens again immediately, you might say, "You grabbed again, so we're taking a short break from the sand toys." Or if it works for you, you can say, "I'm going to sit between the two of you now for a little bit to make sure that you use your own toys." And you follow through. Brief, calm, connected to the action. What makes this work at this age is not severity, it's immediacy and consistency. The consequence has to follow the behavior quickly enough that the connection is clear. And when you follow through calmly every single time, the message starts to land. Now let's talk about the question I get asked most often in this area. And it showed up again recently in a comment thread. A parent wrote, "Our 5-year-old says rude things to her older sister when she's upset. We address it every time, we explain, we redirect to the appropriate behavior, and the next time she's upset, she does it again." If this sounds familiar, here's what I want you to notice. They're doing everything right except one thing. They're explaining and redirecting, but there's no consequence. There's no moment where the behavior is met with a result that the child is motivated to avoid. So without that piece, the explanation is just noise. Here's how I would approach this. When the rude comment happens, pause, get down her level, and say calmly, "That was unkind. In our family, we speak respectfully, even when we're upset. How could you have stated your feelings more respectfully?" And they may need your support with providing an example. And then you have them repeat the phrase and practice using it with their sister. This is an important coaching step that also serves as a consequence. You're teaching them a more desirable behavior and pausing the moment to focus on that behavior, which serves as a type of consequence. Often in this type of sibling interaction scenario, I suggest using a second type of consequence that helps to keep one sibling from feeling as though they're always the wronged one, while the other never gets in trouble. So in this case, after coaching them on what they would say the next time they encounter a similar scenario, I would add, "Please say 3 kind things to your sister to practice using kind words." No lecture, no negotiation, you follow through. And you're giving her the skill she needs for the future, and the consequence gives the moment more weight. Consequence plus coaching. That combination is what changes behavior over time, not just explanation alone. So how do you know if a consequence is actually a teaching tool or just a punishment in disguise? Here's the question I always ask. Will my child understand the connection between what they did and what happened next? A consequence is designed to teach, and it has 3 qualities. So first, it's logical. It follows directly from the behavior. The child threw the food, so the meal ends. The child was rough with a toy, so the toy's put away. There's a clear through line between the action and the result. Second, it is pre-warned when possible. If you throw food again, dinner is done. This gives the child information before the consequence lands. It turns the moment into a choice, not a surprise. Third, it's delivered calmly and without blame. Not, "Why do you always do this?" Just the consequences. Stated once, followed through. What you're doing when you use this consistently is teaching your child that behavior has predictable outcomes, that cause and effect works in the social world, not just in the physical world. that their choice matters, that you're not a source of random, unpredictable reactions. You are a reliable, calm authority figure who means what you say. And here's something that surprises a lot of parents. When you start using consequences this way, the relationship often gets warmer, not colder, because your child knows where the line is. They know you'll hold it, and that predictability is counterintuitively a form of safety. Now, you do not have to choose between being warm and being firm. You never did. And the most loving thing you can do for your child is be both. A parent who is fully present, deeply connected, and willing to hold the line when it matters. Consequences are not the opposite of connection. They are an extension of it. They say, I love you enough to teach you this. I love you enough not to let this slide. I love you enough to do the hard thing calmly, even when it would be easier not to. Every parent watching this video who has been explaining, redirecting, and hoping, you are already doing so much right. Every toddler discipline challenge you face, every standoff, every repeated behavior, every moment of not knowing what to do is an invitation to add the tool that you've been missing. And every time you use it with warmth and firmness together, that is authoritative parenting in action. Once you have it, parenting with one arm tied behind your back is over. Now, if today's video gave you a new way of thinking about consequences, I want to invite you to go even deeper with me at a live workshop I'm hosting. I'm going to walk you through the critical elements that make consequences actually work and show you how consequences fit into a complete parenting framework across all ages, because that's where everything really comes together. You'll leave with a clear plan that actually fits your family. You can grab your spot at drlindsayemmerson.com/live workshop. The link is in the description. And if this video resonated with you, hit subscribe. I have more coming up.